Hey guys, welcome back to the TSU HPSS podcast. I'm your host,
And I'm Shaw, and this is the Post and Shaw Show.
So today we have a guest here. He's going to introduce himself.
How y'all doing? I'm Blaine Hoover with the Nashville Cats. Excited to be here.
So do you mind explaining what the Nashville Cats is?
Yeah, so the Nashville Cats is an arena league, and we're with the AFL, which is the Arena Football League. It's a new league that's starting back up. It was previously back in Nashville a few years ago. It's coming back, and, we're excited to be here, and the rejuvenation of the league, I think it'll be great, be awesome.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you ended up on the Nashville Cats team?
Yeah, absolutely. So I declared for the draft in 2023. I recently switched positions, so it's kind of a different process for me. So I went through my whole draft process. In college, I was a defensive end, and then I transitioned to an offensive lineman. So I went through my whole draft process as an offensive lineman. And then, when it came around draft day, I went undrafted to the San Francisco 49ers. I spent a little time with them. After that, I was drafted in the XFL until the merger happened. And after the merger with the UFL, which is what it's called today, we kind of got cut out of that league. So we were just kind of looking for more opportunities in that. And that's how I was presented with the opportunity with the AFL. So it's a new league, and it's a great opportunity for me to go in, play my position, learn, and make some money doing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to switch gears here. I'm going to talk about financial literacy. Okay. So first, do you have a savings account?
I do have a savings account.
Okay. All right, you passed. Okay, so how do you treat yourself while ensuring long-term financial stability? So how do you do things for yourself, like self-care, without breaking the bank, basically?
Some things I like to do that aren't so too expensive is, I'm from Texas, I'm from the country, so I like to be outside. So my biggest thing is when I visit a new city or I'm going new places, I always like to find maybe a local park or a national forest or something, somewhere I can go and be outdoors, and just clear my mind and stuff like that. So I think that's one big thing I like to do. The second thing I like to do is fishing. So I always like to find a local pond or maybe some locals who know a little, what we call it is a honey hole, a place you can go fish that has, really stocked up with all types of, different fish and stuff in it. So that's something I like to do personally, me. It's not going to just break the bank.
Where do you go here in Nashville to fish?
We have a guy on the team. His name is Blake. So he's got a few ponds and stuff, in rural areas in Tennessee that we like to go out to and fish on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's got some spots. All right. So what financial advice would you give your younger self?
My younger self? My younger self, I've had a lot of business ventures. So I think for me is when the money's good, don't spend it all. I think that was a big issue that I had when I come across a lot of money, because there'd be times where, I'm coming across a lot of money and then maybe, for the next 3 or 4 months, I'm not coming across as much. So I think my problem is I was spending it. I was getting it I was just going to continuously keep getting that money. So I think for my younger self, I would tell myself that, kind of spend it as if you're not getting it as much and put something away.
Do you have a financial advisor? And if you do, how do they help you keep your finances in order? Excuse me.
I don't have a financial advisor. So
This is great. This is
U.S. Bank is right out there.
Right. This is exactly what we're at the summit for. Okay. So since you don't have a financial advisor, by yourself after your athletic career, or if you plan on leaving the Cats anytime soon or doing anything else, how do you plan on handling your money?
That's a great question. I think for me, in the position I'm in, especially as an athlete, in this field, we make a lot of money in a short amount of time. And I think the problem that athletes have is they keep spending the money as they get it, kind of like what I mentioned I did previously. So I think for me, I kind of use I believe there's 2 rules, the 20-80 rule and the 80-20 rule. And so I would go as far as when I'm making this amount of money, the 80-20 rule is, you're only spending 20% of the money you're making and you're saving 80, since you're making, such a vast volume of money. So I think that was some of the principles and rules that I would follow.
So are you taking the opportunity to monetize your name, image, and likeness as just a regular athlete now? And if so, what approach are you taking?
Honestly, I haven't been as much as I should. I think that is something that I definitely need to get into more, and like something that I could use, because I do have, a stage with this professional background. Even though I have been in it a short amount of time, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people follow me and my story. So I believe that's something that I need to work towards, honestly.
How important do you feel like it is to have a social media presence? You said you didn't monetize your brand, but if you were to monetize your brand, your name, your image, how would you find your social media presence to be good, and how would you find it to be harmful?
I think it can go hand in hand, especially with being an athlete, because you have so many people follow you and stuff. So I think a way that it can be used good is that you have people to, like reach out to you. I mean, you can sell merch, you can do a lot of things. I think a way that it can be bad is like, if you're constantly giving yourself like a negative image, like posting things that, may not be, appropriate to what you're doing. I think that's the way you do it.
So in current news, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, I think the way that they like monetize their brands is like extremely like different. So like
Very different.
I think Caitlin Clark is a little bit more quiet online, and maybe that's how she's like able to get all these like brand deals and and stuff like that. And then on the other hand, we've got Angel Reese. She's definitely a firecracker. How do you feel about like that?
Honestly, I think it's kind of like who you are, because I do respect Angela Reese for like being herself. So I think that's like a big thing, is like you always want to be yourself, and you never want to take that away, because I feel like if you're kind of like faking the funk, like that's not something that I personally would want to live in my skin and be like that. Like I'm unapologetically me. So I think it's great for her, and I think it possibly and can potentially hurt her as far as like the money goes, but at the end of the day, she does have that peace of mind that at the end of the day, she's always being herself. So I love that about her. Caitlin Clark, I mean, it's great. She's signing all these deals, signing, these 7-figure deals with Nike and stuff like that. I think that's awesome. But that just may be who she is. She is on the quiet side of things. So, I mean, I can't say that, she's not living in her skin, honestly. So, I mean, that's good for her. But, I mean, as far as like Angela Reese, like she's being herself. So, I can't disagree with that.
So bouncing off of that, how do you think an athlete with a big following can handle negative criticism online while maintaining like a positive like image?
I think you have to sometimes realize in yourself that you're in your position for a reason, and that you have a higher calling for a reason, and that, I'm very spiritual, so I'll be like, God put you in that position for a reason. I understand that there are people just like, miserable and like projecting their feelings on you sometimes, that they may, have a lot of insecurities that they can hide through a screen and, put that on you. So I think that it is definitely important to take care of the mental side of your things, because if you're just sitting there looking at negative comments about yourself all the time, then you can't help but think, like negatively about yourself and like think less of yourself. But at the same time, you do have to realize like the position you're in, the athlete you're in, like there's a very small, finite amount of people that are in your position. So just, constantly reminding yourself that you are great regardless of, what people say, or, because I mean, people say LeBron's trash, he has the best points of all time. So I use that analogy all the time. Like, like people are always going to have something negative to say. That's just what people do. So I think just constantly reminding yourself and just being confident of who you are and who you are in your skin is very important.
Yeah. So you said you had a social media platform, but you haven't looked into NIL deals as much. Piggybacking off that, how do you think you can make your social media more engaging?
I think, me personally, I got to post more. So I think that's me. I don't post as much. I was posting a lot for a minute, and then like I just saw my followers and stuff grow rapidly from what they were. But I think for me, it's just more, I have to be more engaged on social media as far as like posting, just getting the engagement from, the followers and stuff like that. So I think that's one thing I can start off of from scratch. From there, just reaching out to people, maybe like local deals, and just building from there.
So what type of, like, who are you trying to engage with? Like, what is your crowd that you want to?
I think for me, it'd be like more the youth, like younger kids and stuff like that. Because I think that's who are a lot of people that like look up to athletes and stuff like that. And that's, I feel like, is my calling, is, because I can remember my younger self, looking up to athletes and stuff like that, and like people I wanted to be like, or maybe mimic my playing style after. So I think my target audience would be like younger athletes and people that are upcoming, maybe people that are middle school, high school, or even the collegiate level, and just, kind of give that aspiration, that somebody to look up to, kind of like I had when I was growing up.
So do you mind me asking your age? We could cut it if you're old.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm 25.
Okay.
25. Just turned 25 in March.
So you want to reach a younger audience. Like, what type of content would you even post to, like, reach that audience? Like,
that's a great question. I don't even know. Like, I haven't even thought
something to think about.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
Okay, yeah, just to switch gears a little bit, and a few questions. How do you maintain your confidence and motivation during challenging times in your athletic career? And if you have experienced burnout, how have you dealt with that?
That's a great question. I would say one way that I deal with that is I have to remind myself, like, the position I'm in and, like, where I came from. So, like, where I started from to where I am now. I can't get down on myself at times, and I have experienced burnout before, but I think when I experience burnout is, like, I just talk to my family members and my loved ones and the people that I know, like, love me unconditionally and, like, kind of get their thoughts and opinions on stuff. So I think when I experience that, or when I'm going through a slump, or, like, I'm not feeling it, I just kind of talk to them, and they just, reiterate, and they remind me of, like, where I started from, what my goals were initially, and they're like, I can keep going and I'm still able to accomplish all those goals.
That's good. Just to make it a little bit fun, what is your favorite pregame routine?
Pregame routine.
And not going out to the club. We're talking about before a game.
Literally, right?
Or not pregame.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
I can't go into full detail on everything, but I say for sure it's like getting hydrated. So I always go get me, Pedialyte. And then I cut on an old song by Youngboy, and that's like, I got to listen to the same song every single time before I go out. It's called Range Rover by Youngboy. It's on one of his old mixtapes. So, like, people probably never heard of this song. If you have, you're a real Youngboy fan. So I say that's definitely my pregame routine, is get super hydrated, listen to Youngboy, and then, it's time to go crack some heads.
All right. So what advice would you give student athletes who are struggling to navigate their emotions in their athletic journey?
I would honestly, kind of see, like, where you're at. If, like, you're, like, super down, like, and you need help, I know a lot of athletes are, like, against, like, maybe going to seeing a counselor, but I know a lot of universities do offer, like, counseling services stuff for free. So I would say, like, if you're really at that point, like, don't be afraid to, like, go reach out and talk to somebody. Like, it doesn't make you less of a man or less of a woman or less of a person even to go, have that opinion, and just go have somebody to talk to. Or I honestly, like, getting a little personal. I had my brother died, like, right before the season started. So that was something that I was able to, like, navigate. I never was a guy who thought counseling was good for me or anything like that. But, like, honestly, when I seeked it out and I looked for that help and I got it, it helped me a lot and it helped me propel through the season and ultimately got me in the position I am today. So I would say, just reach out, talk to people, just go find help. It's not bad. It's obviously there to help you. So I think that's something that you could really do, and it can be very beneficial.
So you were a student athlete, correct?
Yeah.
Where'd you play?
I played at Tarleton State for my grad year, and before that I played at the University of Incarnate Word, which is in San Antonio.
Okay. So was there a period that you didn't, like, play sports from, like, student athlete until, like, where you are now?
I mean, not really.
So you were constantly, like, an athlete somewhere?
Yeah, I was always an athlete somewhere, and if there was, like, a down season to where I wasn't, like, on a team, I was always training.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Was there ever, like, a point where you thought, like, maybe you wouldn't make it to where you are now?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I know thoughts run through my mind, but, like,
how did you deal with that, like, those thoughts?
I think it's just going back to, like, and talking to those family members that really helped me out. That's kind of how I navigated through it. And then, like, at the end of the day, it's always, like, believing in myself. I think that's very important because, like, how can someone else believe in you, or, like, you expect an organization to believe in you and spend upwards of, like, millions of dollars on you essentially, and you can't even believe in yourself. So I think that's a very important, like, just always having that confidence and believing in yourself through the ups and the downs, and just knowing you and knowing your worth.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. We kind of put you on a spot here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It was great, though. You did great.
Appreciate y'all.
Can you leave us with any lasting advice?
Lasting advice
To student athletes, maybe.
to student athletes, I would say An old coach told me this. He said, "Hey, what'd he say?" He said, "Train like the world is watching you, even if nobody may be watching you. So just always train hard and always give your best." And I think that is I think that's overlooked. That statement is overlooked a lot because your best may not be the best as Tom Brady's best or like Myles Garrett's best or LeBron's best, but always making sure you're doing your best and you're always improving. I think that's very important. So like your best may not look like your team captain's best, or if someone starts over you, your best may not look like their best. But if you know at the end of the day, you're giving your all and you're putting 100, 110% into everything you're doing and you're giving your best and you see yourself improving, I think that's something to hang your hat on. So
Thank you so much. It was really nice.
Thanks for coming.
So much.